Springtime, a magical time to be an angler. Longer days, warmer weather. Life emerges from a deep winter sleep, including largemouth bass. But there's a problem. Minnesota. A closed bass season in the state means no fishing, which leaves only one desperate option.
We have to go 118 miles.
Iowa. Lifelong friends Pete Wagner and Greg Underdahl have a passion for fishing.
Oh, it's got my rod.
But their enthusiasm doesn't end at catching fish. These guys live to discover people
Give me a hug, Karen.
who share their love of angling.
Where did you buy your shoes, by the way?
People as unique as the fish they pursue.
Yeah!
This isn't another fishing show. This is another fishing show.
Here I am in the fresh meat case.
My other job, in addition to being a professional fisherman, is a grocer.
We are heading to Iowa. It's the night before a big fishing day. We're very excited to go bass fishing. We're going into Iowa, but what can we fish in Iowa? Clear Lake is predominantly a walleye fishery. It's not a deep lake. It's about an hour south of me. We can't legally bass fish in Minnesota right now. Minnesota has these crazy seasons for bass. We don't need to worry about seasons for bass in Iowa. Our other option, anyway, we're talking about is Lake Mills. This is a reservoir. We are looking for a lake that's going to have some fish in it, and it is not an easy task. I'm going to wrap up some burger, then I'm going to go have a couple beers. We're going to sleep on it, get up in the morning, and then just shoot out to what we think our best option is. We stayed out way too late. Went to bed at 3, got up at 6. Pete and I are pretty hungover. I can see my heartbeat in my eyes. We're still trying to debate, do we go to Rice Lake or Clear Lake? So we're gonna call the Crazy Minnow Company in Clear Lake, Iowa. I decided to call one of the local bait shops, do a little intel. Is there any largemouth in Clear Lake at all? Right, it's kind of sporadic. When you hear sporadic, that's not typically a good sign. He says they're around, but they're sporadic and tough to catch. We decide to head right to Rice Lake. Lake Mills, Iowa is a town. Yeah. And we are going to Rice Lake, which is actually a little reservoir. First thing we have to do when we get to Iowa is get fishing licenses. You guys sell what, fishing licenses? We found a hardware store that sells fishing licenses, thank God. How's the fishing out at the lake by you out there? It's hard to say, huh? This should have raised some red flags, but we stay focused and we head to the hardware store and stick to our fishing plans. At the hardware store, while trying to get a fishing license, Pete learns that Iowa Department of Natural Resources has the wrong date of birth for him. Somehow it got entered with my birth date and social security number don't match up. Some time ago when he was trying to get a license, they messed up. Pete is always the one that has the problems, it's never me. We asked how the fishing is on Rice Lake.
You ever been out there, Kurt, to Rice Lake? A lot of crawfish.
Is that?
Any bass? You hear any largemouth or anything?
I doubt if there's any bass.
Really?
Great.
So after a couple phone calls, they somehow figure out a way to get my birth date synced up. I better catch a fish after all that. We should be off and running. Thanks, man. Generally, dropping the boat in for me is a dangerous situation. I look like an idiot, but I know what I'm doing. The only thing we know about this lake is we looked at a campground website and saw that one of the activities was fishing. I think they also listed horseshoes. It's Mom's birthday. Hey, happy birthday. I gotta give her a phone call and wish her a happy birthday.
There's one.
Hey, Greg just got a fish. Is it a bass?
It's a bullhead, dude.
It's a
Look at
huge
it.
bullhead.
Look at how big this bullhead is.
Oh my God, it's the biggest bullhead I've ever seen. We're in Lake Mills, Iowa. Leave it to Iowa to throw us a bullhead on a spinnerbait.
That is a first for me, a bullhead hitting a spinnerbait.
If there's one thing Greg knows is that his instincts will lead him somewhere. Not always a good place.
I just have a feeling this point is going to hold the fish.
I have a feeling there is no point.
I am getting frustrated with Pete that he's lacking confidence.
What is going on here? At this point, I'm not having as much fun as I had planned. I threw my lure in a tree.
It takes a lot for Pete to lose his cool. Rice Lake is doing it.
I gotta cut this. We don't think we're gonna catch any fish. We are heading home with our tail between our legs. Rice Lake sucks. We get to Spirit Lake, Iowa, and we are pretty excited actually because we know it as the home of Berkeley fishing. We used to fish with these little green smelly jugs of Berkeley Strike, which we're pretty sure didn't help our fishing at all, but we were convinced it was better than just a crawler.
East Okoboji looks so bassy with its docks. It's such a breath of fresh air as opposed to Rice Lake, which we were at the week before.
We come up to one of the few creeks that feed into this lake. We can actually see a couple bass up by the shoreline. There's a big one. She's going this way. Just sitting right there waiting for us. Kind of cool, huh? Just saw them in the water. We're just sitting here by this little stream coming out here, and there's just a ton of fish sitting here.
Now we're talking. The skunk is out of the boat.
We're still just happy to be fishing bass when we can't do it back home in Minnesota where the season's not open yet.
I'm throwing a sweet beaver. I'm casting to these docks.
I let that thing absolutely sit still. I wasn't even moving it.
A sweet beaver's a soft plastic bait. You Texas rig it, you pitch it around docks.
Pete, what I've learned from this fish is that you might want to just dead stick it.
Dead sticking, that's the term. When you just let a bait just sit on the bottom, not move it for a while, dead sticking might actually be the key for us to catch more fish.
Whoa. I slowed it way down.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah. Like you said, you know, when you were dead sticking it, I figured out that maybe leaving that jig alone and letting the fish pick it up is maybe gonna pay a little dirt on it. Just lifting up real slow, dragging that thing on the ground about 3 inches and waiting and then dragging it again, and then they're just grabbing it.
Pete feels good now about dead sticking. I can tell his confidence is up.
There he is. Good one. I like to call this presentation deadlifting. I'm finding some fish, I'm inventing my own presentations, I'm really impressing myself and nobody else in the boat.
I pitch in and I get a bite.
Oh gosh, it's a bass. It's a bass. And oopsie daisy, here he comes. Oh, it's a walleye.
He just caught a walleye on his sweet beaver pitching technique.
This is the new bait on the walleye trail. It's the sweet beef. See that?
It's a dead ringer for a jig and minnow. Why wouldn't it work?
That's a classic walleye presentation.
Yeah.
I switch over to a shaky head.
There's one, Pete. Good one. Good one.
A shaky head is a floating worm that you rig with a jig head.
He's not giant, but he's a good one. Oh, he had one following too.
If the bass are a little bit inactive, you throw that around, you let it sit on the bottom, and you let it just shake.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
I'm okay with that.
Pete pitches into this dock. He sees his line moving, and he points, and he goes, "Is that a fish?" And I go, "Yeah."
Nice job.
A lot of times, when you make a pitch, a fish will grab it on the fall and just start running with it. And that's exactly what happened here.
Good job, man.
Pete gets the bright idea. He decides to fish off from the docks. And you know, sure as shit, it actually pays off.
Look at the bass next to him. Maybe you should try and catch
That's a smallmouth.
Yeah, you should try and catch his friend.
Pete catches the smallmouth in total no man's land.
It's a nice smallmouth.
It is.
There's no docks around, and he catches a smallmouth, and it's a good one.
It's supposed to be West Okoboji, famous for the smallies.
There's absolutely no pattern. You can fish the docks, you can fish out in the middle of nowhere.
My first Boji smallmouth, also known as a bronzeback, a pumpernickel, or an old mocky bronze.
I start making casts in deeper water away from the docks, and sure as hell, God, they're all over. There's other fish chasing them, other largemouth chasing the fish that I've hooked.
That is so awesome, dude. Out here in no man's land.
Why fish docks when you can fish in open water and catch fish?
It's a chunker.
I'm of the opinion now at East Okoboji, you can fish any pattern and you'll catch fish. East Okoboji has been a success.
So much better than our previous outing. We had a fun day at the lake, and we're looking forward to coming back. We have to go 118 miles.
Why would someone in their right mind drive 118 miles to go bass fishing in Iowa? Why? Because we can't bass fish in Minnesota, that's why. What a stupid question.
I think what we should do is act like we're fishing a tournament.
Yeah.
And our best 5.
5 fish out of 15 is a pretty respectable day,
I'd
right?
say that.
We think we're gonna catch 5 fish equaling 15 pounds or above. Nah, whatever.
I know this isn't as clean as you'd like your boat to be, is put away and everything, but
What do you mean?
I mean, I know there's a lot of going on up here.
Oh yeah, you got too much, but that's standard. I'm an organized guy, especially with my fishing boat.
I had everything exactly how I wanted it.
I'm gonna put my poles up here so you won't break one.
Pete is incredibly particular. He really should see a shrink.
You're so anal, dude.
It's not anal.
What is
We're
it?
gonna be fishing on this side of the boat. I wanna be fishing, we need to get this boat in the water.
Docks, 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 docks. At East Okoboji, docks are where it's at.
Here's one.
Good boy.
That's a nice one too, Pete. Not a bad one.
The sweet beaver is paying dividends.
Okay, so that's 2-pounder maybe?
So remember, the plan is top 5 fish, 15 pounds.
132.
We're well on our way to getting the 15 pounds. It's a good start.
That was fun.
I start fishing another dock and
Greg hooks into a nice bass.
Oh my goodness. That's gonna help.
if we need to get to 15 pounds, we need more fish like this, quite frankly.
Okay, that one I'm gonna say is
I'd say 2.5.
2.5.
I get the scale out and it's 2.73 pounds.
273 plus 132.
4.05 pounds. We're on our way to 15.
Look at this guy, dude.
Bam, another one.
Go ahead. Oh yeah.
It's a good fish on the sweet beaver.
Good boy. About the same, isn't he?
Yeah.
Might be a little less because she doesn't have
Yeah.
the belly.
Another 2-pounder, I'd say. Or, you know, I'd say 2 pounds.
Yeah, I'd say 2's right on.
2.24 pounds.
2.24. Wow, that's a good fish.
Our current weight now is 6.29 pounds.
There is an art to pitching, almost like fly fishing.
Pete's a horrible pitcher.
You mother. But this is just not working for me.
He's like doing this limp-wristed, underhand throw.
What happened?
Just getting a big mess here. It's not even releasing.
He ain't gonna catch it. And what happens? I'm amazed. Pete's fish weighs 1.98. Finally, he's helping the cause out.
We decided to fire up the motor and head to a different section of the lake. Iowa. Home of the free, land of the brave, you know what I'm saying? I am just happy to be able to cruise across the lake and not have to pull start my motor 3 or 4 times to go a quarter mile. How about we head down past some of those docks and then fish our way back this way?
We got docks. We got plenty of docks. Right off the bat, Pete catches one.
Little bub. I don't know if he's breaking any records, but woke me up. All right, we've got our 5 fish. 218. And our 5 fish total up to this point is 10.45 pounds. That's 10.5 pounds.
It's not 15 pounds. We need to find the big fish.
We head into a local resort. There's no shortage of them on Okoboji. I don't know the name of this place, but we're gonna investigate, do a little Bloody Mary research. If I was in Iowa, I'd be drunk all the time. We're out on the deck of the beautiful Fisherman's Wharf.
F you, Minnesota.
It frustrates me that Minnesota doesn't have an early bass season. I don't understand it.
Maybe open your bass season. You won't lose our tourist dollars.
Nobody even cares in Minnesota, and we can't fish for them.
Arr.
We fire up the motor.
This is Captain Pete.
Our mission is to finish this day off with 15 pounds for 5 bass.
What's going on?
Well, my engine just stopped.
Something will go wrong when you fish with Pete. It's inevitable.
Oh yeah, that tank is empty right there.
Pete has run out of gas.
What we need to do is ming coat as quickly as we can to shore.
On your checklist, it's the first thing you check off. Got gas. No, it's not even on his checklist. He doesn't have a checklist.
Ming coat to take me home.
Luckily, I did have the trolling motor charged.
Don't you know how much gas that you should have in your boat? I mean,
I probably should. And we could have checked on the way here, but the decision was made to just be lazy about it.
I should probably check my boat gas, but I'm too lazy to check.
Look at the speed we're going right now.
we should be back at the ramp at 2 in the morning.
The sun is going down. We need to get to 15 pounds.
The trolling motor comes through. We make it to the docks.
We'll do this quick. There's one. That's a big fish, too. Oh my God. Golly, come here, please. Come here. Woo! I love you, Okoboji. Yes! Woo!
It's a classic overreaction by Greg.
I'm blowing out my audio. Woo!
It's a nice fish, but let's just mellow out a little bit.
This fish is a 5-pounder.
The scale is wrong.
Greg is deciding not to believe the scale. He thinks it's a piece of
It's saying 381. I am going to throw this scale in the water.
It's not 3.81 pounds. I mean, the fish is clearly 5 pounds.
So the big fish at the end of the night brings our final tally up to 12.94 pounds.
Because Pete's scale is inaccurate, of course the total weights are inaccurate. I'm confident that we have 15 pounds.
Thank you, girl.
We came to Iowa to bass fish, and we have succeeded. Iowa has been gracious enough to allow us to come down and fish their waters and catch bass legally. Thank you, people of Iowa. Thank you, Iowa.
Thanks for watching this groundbreaking episode of another fishing show. Subscribe to our channel now. Bless your heart.